All right, shalom. This is Chanak Sa'an Bar Yashar Allah from the GMS Lions Den Camp. First and foremost, I'd like to say Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harakakodash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. and salutation to the Akim that are pushing truth, sincerity and truth, and peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. And the topic I want to go into today is make sure while you're in the truth or any fashion of life, this could be something dealing in the truth, or this could be something dealing in the world, or just it really doesn't really matter. But make sure you're not becoming a whisperer or involved in other people's thoughts or other people's perception of others. All right, make sure you form your own opinion on individuals based upon your experiences with that person. You cannot base your opinion on someone if you've never met them, all right, and you're just going off somebody else's judgment, because their judgment could be wrong. And if you proceed past judgment on that person, wrongful judgment on that person based upon what somebody else said, you're just as wrong as that person that created that perception of that person, because you didn't analyze the whole matter yourself based upon your experiences with that person or with the situation, so I just want to get a couple scriptures and talk about it, because this could be at your job, this could be even in camps. All right, people might pass judgment off other brothers based upon what other people have said about this brother, and you haven't even met this individual. All right, so you always want to base things off because that individual could be wrong. They could have had the wrong perception, or they could have taken things out of context, or not understanding, or just been flat out wrong. Or the individual could have been envious. Now you fall under that envious nature because you followed behind what somebody else has perceived of an individual that you don't even know. All right, so we've had It's just like certain instances one instance in the Bible where Paul and Barnabas. I'm gonna get that first. Where Paul and Barnabas had separated, right? Because of their differences, but Barnabas's opinion on John, right, didn't affect. Well, Paul's opinion on John didn't affect how Barnabas felt, so they had to part ways. He didn't say, okay, well, since you think he's slothful, or you don't think he's pushing the work, then I'm going to think the same thing about him that you think. So Barnabas didn't do that. All right, what he did is he formed his own opinion, right, based upon that, and it was a mutual agreement for them to part ways. But they were all still brothers. All right, they kept it brotherly, they kept it orderly. All right, there was no malice. All right, no envy and no strife between them. All right, there was a difference. There was a disagreement, and that's natural. That's normal to have a disagreement among brothers. That is totally natural. But there should be no hard feelings, right? There shouldn't be any animosity, all right, and it shouldn't be any whispering or backbiting on anybody. Right, just because you have an opinion on a certain individual, you shouldn't badmouth them, because you never know what you might have did to influence whatever negative energy that you felt from that person. You might have had negative energy coming off of you. Therefore, the next person might not feel the same negative energy that you felt from that individual. All right, this is Acts chapter 15, verse 36. It says, "And some days after Paul said unto Barnabas, Let us go again and visit our brethren in every city where we have preached the word of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, and see how they do. And Barnabas determined to take with him John, whose surname was Mark. But Paul thought not good to take him with them, who departed from them from Pamphylia, and went not with them to the work." All right, so Paul was like, yo, he ain't even come to, to the place to do the work with us. Why would we want to bring him now? All right, but that was Paul's opinion, own personal opinion about John, whose surname was Mark. All right, it says, It says, and the contention was so sharp between them that they departed asunder from one from the other, and so Barnabas took Mark and sailed unto Cyprus. All right, so he didn't be like, because of how Paul felt about Mark, right? Barnabas still he like, well, I dig him, I fucks with him, so me and him going. I know you don't fucks with him, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just go this way, you go that way. We both doing the work. All right, I'd rather stick with him and make sure he do the work. I know he didn't come last time, but boom, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go this way, you go that way. All right, and it was a disagreement. It was a disagreement, but it did not stop the work from getting done. All right, and it did not stop them from going to meet other brothers, right, and going out and teaching, doing the work. That's what it all boils down to: doing the work. Who's doing it? Who's not doing it? All right. Next scripture I want to get is let me get Sirach. All right, Sirach chapter 6. No, chapter 5. Chapter 5. Chapter 5, verse 14. All right. So you have individuals like they'll see somebody and don't even know them from a can of paint. The only thing you've done is watch videos of this person. But you want to form an opinion on this individual and you never met them. Never met them. Right? That just shows a sign. That shows a sign of wickedness, man. There's no other way to put it. It shows a sign of wickedness for you to like, you know what I'm saying? To form an opinion about somebody that you know nothing about, you know? You never know what you might be able to learn from this person, but by you doing that, you can stunt your growth in this truth, right? And you can miss out on blessings. You can miss out on a brother and a friend because of situations like that. You know? You can miss out on a blessing, a brother or a friend because of that very thing, you forming an opinion without even knowing anybody. And a lot of times, if you have opinion that's against somebody that's doing the same work that you're doing, maybe you need to examine yourself. Why am I feeling this way about this brother that has done nothing to me? Period, point blank. You know? All right, this is Sirach chapter 5, verse 14. It says, be not called a whisperer, and lie not in wait with thy tongue, for a foul shame is upon the thief, and an evil condemnation upon the double tongue. All right, be not ignorant to anything in a great matter or a small. All right, so it's like have no form of ignorance on any great or small matter, even dealing with brothers. All right, before you can form a opinion on somebody, why don't you know them? Know their works. Know them on a personal level. Know what their interests are, because y'all might be similar individuals. Y'all might be, you know what I'm saying. Y'all might have things. Y'all might have attributes among each other that can help each other out. You know, and you know, and basically, like, go back to it. It says, be not called a whisperer, and lie not in wait with thy tongue. So anytime you see, like you have individuals that you hear people talking about a brother, like, oh yeah, that brother doing the work, that brother doing this, that brother doing that, and then you have somebody else come, well, yeah, man, but he did this and he did that. I always have to come in with something negative. You know what I'm saying? I always have to say something negative about an individual. All right, that shame is gonna turn around upon you, man, if you keep doing shit like that. The Most High is gonna judge you for that. You know. You know, you never want to be called a backbiter or a whisperer, man. You lying in wait with your tongue to devour. That's envy. Who can stand against envy, man? Somebody that's envious will not stop until they destroy you, man. And that's not the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That is definitely not the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? It's not the spirit. That's not the spirit that we're supposed to be in at all. Paul said, well, I wish all my brethren could be saved. But he said, all of Israel shall be saved. Some are going to be born into the kingdom. But Paul said to himself, I wish I could be crucified for the sake of Israel, my brother, my kinsman according to this flesh. And Paul was right there in the midst of all the wickedness, dealing with the Pharisees and the scribes. But he still didn't form an opinion. He always had hope but he knew only the elect could be saved. You know, just because he felt like and it's not up to us for us to judge who's the elect and who's not, because that's according to whoever's name is written in the book. None of our handwriting is in that book. The Most High wrote that book, of the book of life, of who's going to make it and who's not, and the angels shall do the reaping. So we shouldn't form an opinion about who we think is the elect or not, because we don't know. We don't know. We hope for salvation ourselves. So how can we form an opinion about anybody else, whether they're going to make it or not, or whether they're you know, unless you catch somebody in their wickedness and being wicked, and you hold counsel against that individual and let them know that they're being wicked, then you shouldn't have anything to say about an individual. Period, point blank. And that's just it. Next scripture I want to get is Psalms chapter 41, verse 5. It says, Psalms 41 and 5, it says, my enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die and his name perish? All right. And then, like the scripture says, what Yahweh Shai says, it was said before, hate thy enemy and love thy neighbor. But I'm telling you, love thy enemy, because you're gonna have, that's just it. You're gonna have, you're liable to have enemies in this truth, man. With other individuals that are in the truth, that are claiming to be in the truth, they might rise up against you. For some odd reason, whatever reason it may be, that's just it. You know? It says, verse 6, it says, and if he came to see me, he speaketh vanity, his heart gathereth iniquity to itself. When he goeth abroad, he telleth it. All right? And that's being a backbiter, man, a whisperer, you know? You seeing somebody, you're envious of that person, so now you're going back and giving negative feedback. So even if, I mean, if me personally, if I have something against somebody, I'll be like, yo, I don't rock with dude, but that's just my opinion. Please don't form it based upon how I feel. You should meet the brother yourself and see how you feel about it. But I just don't rock with him like that. And a lot of spirits are not gonna, you know what I'm saying? You gotta understand, we're dealing with the spiritual and the carnal realm at the same time. We're trying to understand and learn the balances. So you know, we have thoughts that go through our mind all the time, and some of them might be negative, some of them might be unrighteous, but we have to filter those things out and make sure it's not manifested within our actions. That's when they become demons, when their thoughts manifest into our actions on that, you know. So it says, verse 7, it says, all that hate me whisper against me do they devise my hurt. An evil disease say they cleaveth fast unto him, and now that he lieth, he shall rise up no more. All right, yea, mine own familiar friend in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me. And that's the point right there, man. There'll be somebody that stands right next to you, and in their mind is wickedness and envy and strife, and sooner or later, if it's embedded in them, and they're that type of individual, it's gonna manifest, and and it's gonna be exposed. The scripture says the things that are done in the dark shall come to light, man. All right, I'm not going to make this too long, but it's just, you know what I'm saying, it just came on my spirit just to talk about this certain topic. It's Proverbs 16 and 28, it says, a forward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. All right, and that you can have an individual if you have an individual that trusts in you, right? Right, and you pass off bad judgment about another person, right? They're gonna trust the judgment that you passed off because they trust you as an individual, and you can separate chief friends. You know, you could separate camps like that. You know, you could have people fall out of the truth about it, because dealing with envy, dealing with strife among brethren that's a heavy burden. That's a heavy weight. Because what? Why? Because when you're in this truth, you're supposed to feel comfort from your brethren. I don't care if you live way in bumfuck Egypt and you have a brother that's in California. You're supposed to feel a sense of comfort if y'all are walking the same walk. You know? You shouldn't have to be worried about if this brother is going to rise up against me, or has he formed an opinion on me based on somebody else's opinion that he doesn't even know me. You know? Proverbs 26 and 22, it says, the words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost part of the belly, you know? And that's those words are tough to swallow, even though, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, words have power, man. Words have power. The things you say about individuals, and the thing about it is, you talk about an individual behind their back, the Most High probably manifests it where you see that person that person that you've been talking about, and the person that you've been talking to about this individual, and now you have to stand up on the words that you said, and then you're gonna have to eat that if you were wrong about that individual. All right. So if you have an opinion about somebody, it's best that you keep it to yourself and let the other people form their own opinion about whoever. I mean, and if only opinions that anybody should have is if somebody's out here not doing this work, then you should have something to say. Or if somebody's doing the work wrong, then you should have something to say. All right. All right. Let me see. All right, let me go a little bit further. It says, burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and lieth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart, whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. All right, and that's the point. You know what I'm saying? You acting fair when knowing you don't really deal with a dude. You know what I'm saying? And you're really just trying to find a way to set somebody up. And you have a lot of people that be in the truth, so-called in the truth, that'll do that. They feel like they have to make somebody else feel wicked in order for them to feel righteous. They have to bring somebody down in order for them to feel exalted. That's just not the case, man. All right? You don't have to beat somebody down for you to be lifted. The Most High will lift you up if you're worthy of that. All right? Let me get this. I'm gonna get one more scripture and I'm gonna end it. Let me get Sirach, chapter 6, verse 1. It said, instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. All right, you know. So and it's not we're not going to be buddy with everybody we meet in this truth. That's just not the case. We're not going to be buddy. We all come from different walks of life. You know, we all have different type of pet peeves, things that we like, things that we don't. You know, so we're not going to all be buddy, best friends in this truth. We're all going to be brothers. We might have some disagreements, but don't become an enemy to somebody that's walking the same walk and doing the same work that you're doing. Whose side are you on? All right. It said, exalt not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree. All right? You're going to wither away having that type of mindset, feeling that you have to destroy others in order for you to feel whole. That's a demonic way of thinking. Even if you see your brother falling short, you shouldn't say nothing bad about this brother. You should be an encouragement. We're supposed to be giving breaths. We're supposed to inspire, you know, giving life into people. If you see somebody dying, you're supposed to inspire them. You don't kick them while they down. That's not brotherly. All right, that's becoming an enemy. All right, it says, verse 4, it says, a wicked soul shall destroy him that hath it, and shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies. Sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. All right. So if you say anything about anybody, why you always want to focus on the negative? Focus on something positive that you can say about a brother. All right. Don't immediately count somebody out. Especially if they're out here doing this work, man. You have brothers that are in the truth that'll talk about other brothers doing the same walk that's them in this word, but they won't say shit bad about one of their 2/3 as friends that they got on the streets. But they'll talk shit about somebody that's actually out here doing the work. But you ain't gonna talk about your worldly friends like that. Yeah, that's my dog. I know he ain't work, but that's my dog. You got individuals in the truth that are like that. Won't stick up for a brother doing the same walk as you doing, but you'll stick up for a nigga in the streets. Verse 7, it says, no, verse 6. It says, be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first. Be not hasty to credit him. So with that being said, like I said before, you're not gonna be best friends with everybody you meet in this truth, walking this path. All right, the prime example, Paul and Barnabas. All right, with Mark, John's surname Mark. All right, so we gotta prove each other. So don't expect when you first meet a brother or whatever. Don't expect for them to be like all open arms because of the things that people might have gone through in the truth. You don't know what somebody has gone through. If you haven't been there with them foot for heel for foot, and known the struggles that people have gone through in this truth, you cannot pass any judgment on how they react towards your actions, especially if it seems like you're moving funny. You got to be mindful of your action. How are you approaching these different brothers? Are you approaching them in an honorable way or dishonorable? Are you coming in like you're coming in sneaky? It says, read it again. It says, if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. All right, it says, for some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. See, that's the thing about it. We're supposed to be, wear each other's burdens, man. We're supposed to be a helping hand to each other. All right, but some people will be a helping hand or appear to be a helping hand till the day that they see you about to fall, and then they'll see you stumbling. Instead of helping you up, they'll push you further down. You got individuals that claim to be worshiping Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai that are like that. It says, and there is a friend whom being turned into enmity and strife will discover thy reproach. And again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. All right, and that's this thing. If you're doing good in this truth, like you know what I'm saying, and you pushing videos out, and people see that the Spirit is with you and all that, right? They see that the Spirit is with you, all right. And they rocking with you. They rocking with you. As soon as you hit a stumbling block, or as soon as you hit a hard spot, as soon as you hit a brick wall, as soon as you start going through something, all right, that they seize that as an opportunity to move you out of the way and get into the position that you were in. That is not a true brother. All right. It says, if thou be brought low, he will be against thee and will hide himself from thy face. All right. Yeah, that's just it. It says, separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends. So, and if you're going to be a friend, you must show yourself to be friendly. All right? If you want somebody to befriend you, you have to show yourself to be friendly. All right? And I'm going to close it out with this. Proverbs 18 and 24. It says, a man that has friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. All right, and that's all we're supposed to be fighting for, man. We're supposed to be all on this. All those that are in the truth and sincerity and truth are supposed to be fighting for one another, not fighting against each other. All right, not trying to like me better than you like him type shit. That's childish, man. You know. With that being said, I'd like to say, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harakak Wadash Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.